Are you ready? Are you ready to pot it up?
Let's go. Let's have fun. Peatcast it.
This is the Simply Youth Ministry Podcast with Doug Fields,
I think it's going to be a four-shoulder touch.
Matt McGill,
Nothing says loving like a muffin.
Josh Griffin,
The internet is a hotbed of activity.
and Jana Sardi.
Podcast.
The show starts now.
Wow. Hey, everybody on our Simply Youth Ministry podcast team. Doug Fields here with Josh. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Jana,
Hello.
haven't left. And
2 weeks.
2 weeks in a
2
row.
weeks.
Yeah,
He
you
just
have
keeps
changed.
switching spots. We have Jake Rudenbar here, who was filling in for Josh, who had a
Yeah.
little family emergency last week.
Had some
How did
stitches.
we do with not talking about or talking about
He
the
didn't
dog
listen.
thing? He
I
listened.
listened to a good chunk of the show. I appreciated your guys'.
What is a good
We
chunk
were
of the show
sensitive.
mean?
We didn't really say anything more than what you twittered.
No, it's great. Yeah, my
McGill
youngest son
crossed the
got
line.
bit by a dog and had 15 stitches by a.
I love your details. A dog. It's your dog.
Our dog.
Does
yeah.
the dog have a number?
The dog is dead.
Oh.
Is it
We
really?
end up having to kill the dog. Yeah. Long story, so I
didn't
won't
know
tell
that.
it.
All of
but
our PETA
on
listeners.
Saturday morning, we had to put the dog down. So basically, no
Like
one could
you
take
had
the
to
dog.
put it
and
down,
we
like
couldn't
take it in the backyard
Yeah.
with
They
No.
a blanket
hammer.
and a gun? Or
Yeah, it was
Old Yeller.
Old Yeller.
Old Yeller
all over
moment.
again.
Wow.
Yeah, so
you have to
Brody
pay for
Brody
that?
Griffin is no more. It's very sad. There have been more. Honestly, it's been one of the hardest weekends as a dad.
Tightwad over here. Did you have to pay for that?
Oh, believe me, he's aware.
No, yeah, I'm not.
$101, and it was one of the most challenging weekends as a dad that I've honestly ever had. No joke.
Seriously.
Wow.
They love that. My wife loved that dog. The boys love that dog. So it was a really, really rough time. So I missed the show, but more importantly, it was a good dad. And my
You were a
son's
good
better,
dad.
and dog's down.
That's great. How did you think Jake did in your spot?
I would give him a 6.
Yeah.
Because if I give him any higher, then you'll replace me. So 6 is being fair.
That's fair.
I was thinking on a scale of 1 to 5.
Yeah.
So was I.
So-
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Thank you. Thank you. To be honest, I'm very tough on myself, very critical of myself. I did excellently last week.
did?
I thought so.
Excellent.
As your own
Yeah.
hardest critic.
Yeah, excellently.
How about your English?
Excellently is a great word.
Oh, okay.
Are you trying to be McGill today?
No, I'm trying to be Jake. I'm just,
okay.
whoa, hey, whoa.
That is so McGill.
What?
Matt,
People think I copy a lot of McGill's mannerisms. I taught him everything he knows.
yeah.
Everything.
It's not just wisdom, it's knowledge.
It's
Wait.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Opinion.
Matt is on vacation
Opinion.
in Mexico.
Yep.
He is.
Yeah.
He's surfing in the Caribbean somewhere.
And I just
The
got
internet.
I just got a
Floating,
text
sinking.
from him that said enjoy the show or have a good show
Yeah.
or something like that. Something about the show. He
Well,
was just the fact that he was thinking about it.
That's nice. It's more than he does when he's here.
means he must be bored.
Yeah. No Xbox, just the ocean and your family.
Says you guys doing the podcast, have fun. If you are, have fun. If you're not, have fun.
Wow.
Have
We're just
fun.
having fun.
He's on vacation.
So
Yeah,
are you.
I got to tell you,
Vacation from humor.
I've said this before, is that when Matt's not here, I have fun. I
gonna
really
be
do.
a great show.
I know. When
So
Matt's
It's going to
here,
be 6s across the board.
when,
Yep.
when Matt's here, it's a little rougher.
Sure.
Hey,
We're all
speaking
gonna
of,
do
before we
excellently.
jump into
Yes.
incredible questions, you have an eye cancer?
I did.
Yeah, what's
well,
going on?
To be fair, it's not cancer. I have an eye growth. I have a scar. I have some
From
tissue.
I think it's from the Terry bit.
It could
You
be from
strained
the
your eyes.
Staring blankly
It's
at the
my
camera.
eye is a little bit too dry. I went to the eye doctor for the first time maybe in my life.
Okay.
Saw Dr. Rob. He looked at it. He said, I have a little, I don't know, scar tissue is what he said,
Yeah.
that built up. And he thought it was just on the white part, but it's moved on to the iris,
Almost
I believe.
hits the color
So
part of your
it's
eye.
he said it's fairly common. He said actually surfers out here get them all the time because the reflection. And
How'd that
whatnot.
make
Yep.
you feel?
And
but
you're always in the
I was like, I surf all no.
Shaka.
But I never wear sunglasses, so he said at the very least I have to wear
So
sunglasses.
did you buy a new pair?
So I got these.
Look at
He
those.
gave these to you?
Those are
I
like
mean, no,
$150.
insurance took care of them.
Wow. No
Wow.
wonder the church is struggling financially. These
Yeah,
Yeah,
are
but
nice.
lay
between
people
him
off,
and
but
McGill, they
nice
all got new
glasses.
I know.
Makes me want to buy a
Whatever.
Kindle.
I've
You know who you
never
are.
I've never ever used church insurance. You know me. I never go to the doctor for anything.
Yeah.
So
to our team, let me just tell you something about Jake.
He's rich.
Yes.
No, wait, that's McGill.
Clearly.
Sorry, same
That's
seat,
okay.
different guy.
Yep.
Yeah, Jake passes out. My favorite story. Jake cannot handle
Oh.
any doctor's appointment. He passes out.
I'm gonna start
His
rubbing
wife
my
just
veins
had,
right now.
Just had an ultrasound, but
Yep.
you made it through the ultrasound?
Dude,
No.
well,
Or did you get lightheaded?
I had to leave the room.
No.
And
For
I
an
laid down
ultrasound?
on the ground in the bathroom across
Sick.
the hall.
Lifts
Ooh.
up his shirt to get the cool
The
tile
cool
on
tile
his
on
back.
the
Appreciate
It was
that.
very nice.
No,
But
that was
in a bathroom,
nasty.
bad idea.
You guys,
But my favorite was
Nasty.
like when you were in high school or college, didn't you pass out for an eye exam?
yes, I was 8 years old.
Nuh-uh.
It was one of the first times I passed out. And they had me in the hall, and I was doing the eye exam
Like
down the
reading the
hall,
chart.
reading the chart. And I was a very polite young boy. And I told the nurse, I go, "Oh, ma'am, I don't feel good. I think I might pass out." She goes, "Really?" I go, "Yes." And right as I was falling down, I go, "I'm gonna need the smelling salts." and so her last words, she's like, they ran out to get my mom. They're like, "He told us he was gonna do it. We didn't believe him, but
No way.
yeah, there's something weird."
Yeah.
But here's the weirdest part:
weird.
is he watches Grey's Anatomy faithfully.
Wow.
He cries through it.
Unbelievable. Well,
Well,
it's
that's two
unbelievable.
different issues. One, the
One
medical
is-
factors of Grey's Anatomy for some reason don't faze me. I'm able to
You
watch
see
it
the
and
blood,
enjoy
you
it.
see
yeah.
everything, you're fine.
But the drama of Grey's Anatomy, that gets me every time. That gets me. Whew,
So if you
every
turn
week.
on Grey's Anatomy while your wife was delivering the baby, you might be able to make it through.
Actually, that's true.
Yeah.
Could
You
be.
missed the delivery, but
I'm there for it. I just stay in the northern hemisphere. All I need to do, I'm in a chair. I sit in a chair
Stay
the whole
up
time.
top.
I sit by her head.
Yep.
We hold hands. She's proud of me
You
for doing
coach her.
that.
You can
I do.
this.
Yeah, we got this. Here we go. I played a lot of sports growing up, so that's all I know. But yeah.
Hey, better.
Hey, boy.
All
Yeah,
right.
so
Well, congratulations,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
And get your heart checked, Jake.
that's funny you should say that. I'm going next week.
Yeah, you've had heart problems.
Dr. Lyle.
You're only, what are you,
Dr. Rob, Dr.
30?
Lyle.
What are you, how old
why
are
is he
you?
on first name
I'm
basis with all the doctors?
29.
29.
Dude, your body went faster than Fields.
No, we know
No
this.
offense.
Hey.
Just saying.
Doug's been bugging me about being balder than he is for a long time.
Since you were in high school.
Yeah, and it was like a
Wow.
joke for a long time, and then at some point it was like, oh no, I really am.
Yeah, sorry about that, Jake.
But you at least shave it to cover it up. You're not
I went-
pretending that it's...
Oh wow. Yeah, that's all I
I
got.
went to Jake's baseball game when he was 12 or 13 years old.
wow.
Yeah.
When I first came to Saddleback. Just
That's
did
awesome.
a little junior
Yeah,
high
that's
ministry
cool.
right there. I went to see
Just
Jake play
I
came
used
baseball.
for the
I
last
used to
3
rake
innings.
back then too.
Absolutely, last
Junior.
inning.
Yeah, you were great. Did you
Anyway,
see-
we got
Really?
we got a lot going on. We've got a
sponsored by...
This is the yeah. Every once in a while we have to do a product placement to pay for the bandwidth, says Andy Brazelton.
Hey.
But this is a new book
new
that just
book.
came out called Creative Times with God: Discovering New Ways to Connect with the Savior. It is written by yours truly, but it is a devotional for teenagers.
Cool. You bought it
So-
for the kids in your youth group?
Yep, yeah, it's not something that you know. I guess they gave away a bunch in Denver this weekend at some youth ministry conference, and people were twittering and saying, "I'm reading it on the plane on the way home," but it's not really a reading book. It's different ways for you to connect with God. So
Oh, cool.
it's creative ways.
Yeah, and not just God, but the Savior. And yes.
You know what? It doesn't seem like something we should joke about though.
That's why I didn't laugh.
Maybe not.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Maybe
just
not.
wanted
It's just
to-
interesting word choice. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Savior versus Jesus, God,
yeah.
connecting with the Spirit.
Are they different? Do we need to have a little
Yeah.
Trinitarian
Oh, goodness.
deal?
Wow.
Okay,
Nope.
let me just draw you a
No,
picture.
no.
God, this is God.
It's water, but
Okay.
it's ice.
No,
and it's also
this
steam.
is Jesus. This is God the Father. This is the Holy Spirit. These are not the same. They are not God. That is God. I'll do it on a
Really?
map.
I had no idea.
That actually is a great drawing.
Thank you.
It is.
Okay.
So
What?
buy this. All right, next.
All right.
Question?
This is from Jimmy Scott from
Jimmy Scott.
Hazeldale Christian Church in Carmel. He's
Jimmy
just Jimmy
World.
Out. That's his. I guess that's his
Oh.
send
like
off.
Seacrest out.
Yeah.
I like it.
You
Yeah.
say that.
See you in 7.
Says, I will be
You
at
say
the
that.
Simply Youth Ministry group conference coming up in February. As a youth pastor, I'm always looking for creative ways to promote our events, programs, and youth ministry news. Whenever I am in another church, I always take the student ministry brochures to spark creative juices in our publicity.
And
or,
money from those churches.
or to
Yeah.
steal.
Oh,
Yes.
seriously.
To steal.
Shoplifting. Cool.
Spark creative juices or directly rip them off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Spark away.
That's
Jimmy out.
everything we've ever done. So, I think it'd be awesome if youth pastors would be willing to submit any publicity they use and then to compile all the submissions on a disc or a website so that other youth pastors can share ideas, steal ideas. He actually said
That's
steal
good.
ideas
Just say it.
from each other.
Thou shalt not steal.
Could this happen at the Simply Youth Ministry group conference? What do you think,
Ready?
Chris?
I don't think they'd want to
used
put that
to-
by the resource table. It
No.
doesn't seem like that would.
Let's know how we could sell
No,
it.
but years ago, didn't you go to a conference and you just took all of our leftovers?
Yeah, we did. We had it was a certain conference. They only allowed 40 youth pastors at it, and we all brought materials. We had to bring 40 copies of everything. And we passed it
Yeah,
out and
that's
sent it
cool.
home.
Yeah.
But that was back in the olden days of Xeroxing. We could.
I got a
No,
bunch
but
of
if they were,
digital
calendars
calendars
yeah,
that
if
I'd
they
be
were
happy to.
leftover print pieces,
Yeah.
that just
I think
gave
it's a
I-
fun idea.
Well, good
We,
call.
I would post almost everything we do
Right.
in HSM at least.
Yeah.
On morethandodgeball.com.
I think what he's getting at is they might like other stuff than what.
But if you want something other than us, we don't have that.
We're certainly not on the creative
Now,
cutting
here's
edge.
the deal.
I'm
Here's the
saying
deal.
if everyone
if
gave
you
their
would,
stuff-
if you would source everything you rip off,
Yeah.
so like when you put it on your blog, you say stolen from First Baptist Toledo.
Oh, too much work. It's stolen by It's stolen from somebody.
All right. Anyway, Jimmy out. I like the idea, Chris. Let's put this on an agenda to talk about. Yeah. What do you think? I think that has potential.
I would agree.
Hey, speaking
Like
of the
baseball
conference,
cards.
by the way,
Trade.
Jana,
Yes.
are you going to go? You're so pregnant.
I responded to.
I know. I
Are
have
you gonna
another
go?
email back from her
You can't fly.
Oh.
saying that.
No, I could fly.
Wait, when do you do?
He said I could fly.
believe.
April 4th.
And the conference is
That's
at the
a
end of
month.
February. Which, by the way,
Yeah.
those of you who are team members, if you wanna come to the conference, I would
Oh, yeah.
encourage you to sign up quick. Depending on what your budget is, get
Seriously,
it on.
I walked in
How
and
cool
saw
is
the
that?
number.
Yeah, it's last year at this point. I think I
Cool.
mentioned this last podcast. We were like 10% full. We're over 50% full, so we're way ahead of the game. We're at last.
I like that.
So
It's gonna be
team
fun.
members, come on. So anyway, yeah.
So wait, so you're going to be there?
I don't
With
know.
a month to 8 months pregnant, you're going to be there?
I will go.
I want her there.
Oh, I do.
We're gonna do a live
When,
podcast.
when Doug's looking at her, she says, "I don't know." When Doug's making eye contact,
No, I will
Oh,
go.
I'm in.
I said I would go.
I know.
Okay.
I love it.
They're
Why do you
they're
say I don't know?
they're a little concerned because that
8 months pregnant.
group has a philosophy, I guess. If you're within 6 weeks of delivery date, you don't fly.
Oh.
No, I
but
think
you're
that
not an
that is.
employee of group.
No, I'm not. I think that's standard. But
It's not just group. Doctors believe this. as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. But,
Ironically, medical community.
Publishers of Creative Times with God, which will
I
be blogged about on
specifically asked.
morethandodgeball.com
Absolutely.
one of these days.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
wow.
maybe.
Whenever it gets
I don't know.
past all the artwork he stole. Hey, let's talk about good. It looks good, doesn't it?
It does,
I'm
it's cool.
very proud of the look. It's a good
Dude,
look.
it's good. It's creative.
Yeah.
Oh,
With
yeah.
God.
Savior.
Mm-hmm.
But
Holy
really-
Spirit.
See, there's this. All right. So anyhow, you're not going to go to the conference.
No.
Cool. That's too bad.
Jan will be
I
there.
don't know. We'll decide.
If not, just
We'll let
send
you
Lee.
know.
All right.
I know.
Well,
Um,
Jake can just fill in for you because he'll
This
be there.
this is titled Free Stuff. So
Ooh,
this
I'm
goes
in.
back to a couple weeks ago.
I'm in. Let's go.
Which I actually thought we would be getting stuff based on that show that people would be sending, our team members would be sending.
Yeah.
Like what I would have thought. Here's what would be a really funny thing: send stuff to Doug and Jana and Matt.
Yeah, that'd
but
be
don't
real
send
funny.
don't send free stuff to
Oh
Doug.
man, how funny would that?
That'd
be?
have been a funny bit.
Super funny. Boy, do that, everybody.
Hey, Chris, while you're with the live show, would you do me a favor? Go to the Friday of the conference. And I know we did this one, but would you count back 12 weeks? We need to know when our official weigh-in is for our weight
Ooh,
challenge.
I had a salmon salad for lunch today, so I'm good to go.
Actually, I think you look thinner.
Oh, I thought
That
just
is-
the opposite. I did. Looking
I
at it,
really
maybe
did.
I thought it was maybe because you shaved your little
I shaved
thing
this
there.
for because I was Mr. Incredible for Halloween, so I had to be
Yeah.
clean shaven.
Yeah.
But it's coming back.
Yeah,
I'm
that
bringing
was
it
like
back. It's taking its sweet time.
a
I
while
know.
ago.
Man.
Anyway, Chris Burke,
guy.
who
Shave
is
every
from Maddock,
Australia.
Ontario. So this is a Canadian friend.
I love it there.
He's just taking McGill's place.
Yeah, I
want
know. If
some-
you guys talking.
Hey, you have an iPhone anywhere you can just
Hey,
put
by the
that
way, last week you didn't know this. After the show,
Yeah.
I got on Matt a little bit.
Did you?
He looked guilty, didn't he? Like
He felt bad.
He felt bad.
it was
felt bad.
awesome.
He didn't hijack the show. Well, at least not the chunk that I watched.
No, it was. You know what it was?
The
Here's,
1
here's the
minute.
deal. And you and him are the guilty ones of it.
Oh, come on.
You guys have your own little conversation going
This is Matt.
while I'm trying to read a question or something like that. And
And I'm listening
He
very
did
carefully.
it. He did it. Had a little conversation with Jana, and I said, "You just
Oh.
we gotta figure this out
Yeah.
because we already have a crappy show anyway. So we add
Multi-million-dollar
to
studio. I don't know.
it. Yeah, we add to it when we have side conversations.
Yeah.
And it was like he just had that look like, ooh, Doug is coming down on me.
Yeah.
It was the look of guilt.
You know
on
who
Joe.
had that look recently? Brody the dog.
Oh.
Brody had that look. Oh,
May he
I
rest in
really.
peace.
Yeah,
He
I-
did. You
Oh.
buy my kids.
I'm not gonna
You
talk
did.
about stuff like that.
Thank you.
Anyway, Chris
Hey,
Berg,
Jake, while
he's
reading this
responding
question,
to he's responding to the free stuff schmoozer that you are, Josh.
Oh, it's true.
And he says,
I
we're
am.
driving down to New Orleans
Loser.
with 85 students. We'd make frequent stops for meals. All of the students
Love it.
would get in line, and he's talking about this volunteer. I won't read the whole thing, but this volunteer, after all the kids ordered, he goes up to the line and says, what do you guys have for free? He says, and the staff would be taken back for a moment, then he would get a meal. The whole trip down and back from Ontario, Canada to New Orleans, he didn't pay 1 cent for food, while I and the other staff probably spent $60 to $70 on food.
Come on, that's a good bit though.
That is
That
bus
is-
drivers eat free. I'm a bus driver wherever I go.
And that you can
Done.
do that in fast
Yes,
food restaurants.
yes.
But here's what I would say.
think it's
Instead of
brilliant.
mocking the guy, put him in charge of staff food.
Yes.
Just make that part of the
Oh,
bit.
God.
I don't have
Funny.
I don't have the cojones. I'm
I'm
not even sure what that
embarrassed
is.
for that
Eggs?
youth group for that guy. Yeah,
To go to a counter and ask for free stuff.
No,
but
because it's terrible.
But if I had a
Dessert.
volunteer that was as obnoxious
Okay.
as this guy, who could save all of my volunteers $60 to $70,
True.
I would say make it happen.
True story.
Josh
I had
has
a,
totally
had a
done it.
volunteer this week who
Josh
is
does
taking
it.
out his small group every week with Chick-fil-A's green receipts. You know, you go in on Friday, it's a green receipt day. You can bring it back, and they give you whatever's on the receipt for free.
I didn't know
Every
that.
Friday?
Maybe it's once a month. I don't
It's
know.
like come back,
So
whatever.
he,
yeah.
he was telling me this yesterday. He's like, yeah, so I've got this receipt. I'm going to take my small group kids out. And he says, as I'm dumping my tray into the trash, I see 2 more. So I grab them. And then this is a volunteer in HSM yesterday. Something. Then he's like, and then I'm leaving. I got 3 receipts. And I see this trash can in the back of Chick-fil-A. And so he picked up 37
Impossible.
receipts.
Impossible.
No way.
That's
See, that should be an ex-volunteer.
Yeah, that's
That
a
should
great
be an
coaching moment
ex-volunteer.
right
it
there.
is
Yeah.
fantastic.
See, now if we go back to the diagram
Yes,
of the
thank you.
Trinity,
The
you
Savior. We
would
wouldn't need to hit
understand
that
that a
diagram.
savior is
I'm
about
not-
transformation.
Not me.
Thank you.
No,
Not
but
me.
I
might have
know
just-
you. You laugh.
Yeah,
and
you know you got a
joke
free
and-
meal
No,
off
he's
one
like,
of those
good
receipts.
idea. Good
Yeah.
idea.
I was like, dude, that is wrong. Give me a couple of those receipts and we'll, we're cool.
You can stay on staff.
Oh,
The green
gosh.
receipts are like money. That's all there is to it.
All right.
That's funny.
Tim Bailey from Harpersville Baptist Church, Harpersville, New York. He wants in on the weight deal. Okay.
Oh.
But here's what he said. I've been a faithful
It's so much
virtual
easier.
apprentice from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Every single banter-filled episode. I'm a volunteer youth worker at the church.
cool.
I also work nights at a shelter for kids. I'm also, last check, about 330 pounds. So he's about 20
Awesome.
less than you, Josh.
Dear. Little,
I
those are just
can't-
wounding little things. You
Oh,
just-
maybe it's math that's 330.
No, it's
Um,
jerk.
I can't afford to make it to the conference, but could weigh in by phone or online somehow. So anyway,
Huh.
did you find that what the 12th is? 12 weeks back?
out would be December 4th.
December
Oh,
4th.
so I have
Oh, perfect.
10 days.
Oh,
to
right
get
after
in.
Same
Thanksgiving.
day, the
Love
same
it.
day I'm getting skin cancer burned off my face.
Oh,
Yeah.
on your eye?
I've got to
Where is it?
I've got to burn my face
No, the whole
Face
thing.
and I have
back?
to stay inside 3 days.
We know somebody who did that, and it was terrible. When
Oh,
they,
Jana.
you know
darn
them.
you.
You know them too.
Who?
You know, old
I'll
burn
tell you
face.
Come on,
That's
that's
December
awesome.
4th. December 4th. I'm getting the.
Oh.
Oh, they're gonna sandpaper it all
I
off.
don't know.
Are they going to wrap you? Are you going to be mummified for 3
Avocados?
days?
No, but I'm supposed to stay inside, away from windows. It even says that.
Wow.
I'm gonna be
But
that.
you could have
Yeah,
movie-
yeah.
What about, will you just do movie marathon
Yeah,
though?
because it's like
I'm
tissue.
thinking of it, but I just
Oh.
finished last night the last episode of Sons of Anarchy season 1, and
Band
now
of
season
Brothers.
2 is on TV.
Yeah, just do Band of Brothers or something. Come up with a new show.
Seen it?
Oh, Grey's Anatomy?
I never seen
Lame.
it.
Never seen it either.
the
Lame.
best.
Really?
Best,
Grey's Anatomy?
best drama on
Dude,
television.
you gotta
I don't
get into,
know,
like,
I don't
Lost
know.
or
You
The
like it,
Office.
right?
I like it, but the best.
Why do you back off? Why don't you befriend me on this?
Well,
Yeah, you leave him out there.
It's a great show.
Okay. Tim, who is going to be part of our weight loss deal,
Okay.
also has a question about, he's a volunteer, new youth worker, the whole bit, but they've become friends. There's some tension, stuff like that. Let me just summarize and go right to Tim, since we don't have the person of all knowledge here interrupting.
we don't
It-
get to weigh in, guys.
No,
Yeah.
this isn't one that's worthy of weighing in.
Not till
because
December 4th.
Here's the deal.
Here's the answer.
That was actually pretty good there.
Thank you. Being Matt today, being Matt.
Yep.
Oh,
Jake's humor is very pun oriented anyway.
yeah, I've been around Kurt
Old
and Matt
burn
Hall a lot.
face. The old burn face is pretty funny.
Yeah, it's
I
classic.
really like
You can't
that
go wrong
one.
with that.
Yeah.
Bernie Burnerson.
Anyway,
Oh,
if
fatty.
this guy is a friend of yours and there are issues spilling over into ministry, you just have to talk with him. Okay? You just have to talk with him. There's no way around that. He's a buddy. Make it happen. Josh and I met today. I had to confront him on something.
Big confrontation.
Yep.
I had no
he's
idea.
wearing really tight clothes in front of kids.
Thank
Didn't
you.
realize
I'm really
that
glad
you could
somebody
see
talked to him about
my
that.
nipples like that.
You can't say nipples on the show.
sure.
Yeah, it's a guy.
can?
A
Why?
guy.
Oh.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
cold.
Okay.
This is from Dylan.
Thank you. I don't think you can say nipples.
I was gonna throw nipple into his last name, but I just decided against that.
That's fair.
That was
Yeah.
wise.
Here we go.
Yeah. This is from
They didn't-
Dylan Buttmeyer.
I love that he got it.
So stupid.
They-
Tried to stay
You know what?
strong.
This weekend, I don't think any of you guys know this. This weekend at the
I think I heard
11:15
the story.
service.
Yeah.
Did you hear from
What's
somebody?
happened?
Yeah, I'm trying to think who told me.
Blooper got a Fields blooper reel.
No.
Shoot.
They were
I
so
am.
excited about it.
I am.
Who's
It's
they?
actually online.
So, whoever was telling me was.
I'm telling this
cracking up.
Chick-fil-A story about me and this guy in Chick-fil-A, and I said, you know, it wasn't all that unusual of a story. You know, it's not high drama. And then my line was, until I ended up in the back of his pickup truck on the side of, right? You guys
Yes, yes. You
rode
said
there in the
back
side of a
seat.
desert, and everybody laughs like, ha ha. You know, so the 11:15 service, I said it wasn't unusual. You know, until I woke up in his bed. I meant to say his truck bed.
You did not.
Yeah. And then I just stopped. I said, okay, I can't even recover from that again, or something like that. And
You know who
That
told, you know who
That
told me?
is terrible.
Dr. Rob at my iPhone. He's like,
Open
it was
your
so
eye.
funny.
Have you heard this
Yeah.
story about Fields?
oh gosh.
No
was so funny.
way.
Yeah. So it is a.
Because they must not have just laughed like,
Yeah.
oh, that's funny. They
You
must
know
have been
what?
like nervous laughter.
You could add that to the blooper reel without sound.
Oh.
Oh.
Can we just quick talk about that?
Friday night.
That hurt
Big
me
celebration
so bad.
dinner.
Friday
I
night.
want to
very-
hang my head in shame too.
Very nice.
Yes.
It was very, very nice. Kathy
Yeah.
and I were blessed out of our mind. About 24 very
Yes.
close friends that I've worked with. We're doing a goodbye off staff.
Really cool.
Very, very nice. The
Great
highlight
food.
of my year, decade, whatever.
Great food.
Jake had a part.
Incredible. Those little
Jake had a part
meatballs.
where he's going to show a little video. Chris, you'll like this. A little video of me, like bloopers and me doing different things.
Yeah.
And he's got the laptop. He's got the screen, the whole bit.
In the middle of this
no
restaurant
sound.
and everything. Yeah.
No sound.
Well,
Ugh.
Well,
Yeah.
he
I'll
No,
allow
no.
you to describe.
He kind of tossed you under the
Laptop
bus a little
No,
bit.
no, no.
Well-
I was surprised that I wasn't lifted out from under the bus by Jana.
Oh, because she said, "Oh, was it Jana
No,
that dropped the
no.
ball, not bringing the speakers?"
I was asked to make the video. In
Oh.
fact,
Wait.
I asked Jana,
I said.
"Are we all good
have-
on stuff there?" And
I
she
said I have a
said,
laptop and the projector, and we just never talked about speakers. I took the blame when I said. In
Oh, I don't.
typical
I
Jana,
heard
Jake.
it.
No, all I
I
heard
said-
was.
Back up the
Jana,
bus,
Jake,
Jake. Come on out.
All I heard
Come on
was,
out.
now, Jake and I didn't think about this too much.
Yeah.
I had thought about it. I went down the line of asking that
yeah,
question.
she threw you under the bus.
Oh.
It felt like
Totally.
that. I
Yeah.
went
And it
on
was
that
very
night.
Child.
to our team.
Totally lying.
I'm
Little
not
target.
lying.
To our team that's listening.
Oh.
It took a lot of the joy away from
Here's
Doug's
where
final dinner.
here's where it hurt. Is it's just so typical for me to mess something up like that.
Yeah.
So that's where it was.
But
So it's okay to just pile it on you because it's
Exactly.
well,
it's
what was
Jake,
so
the
funny is
doofus.
we
And-
all felt
Burn face.
uncomfortable
I would have
because you
never-
start showing it, and nobody felt more uncomfortable than me because it's me
I
doing all
disagree.
this
I
stuff.
felt the
up
most
there.
uncomfortable.
I
No.
think I felt uncomfortable.
Oh gosh,
It was you with your tombstone facial hair back in the day.
It was
It was-
it was great. And we're all like, okay, should we just watch Doug kind of
just-
mime stuff or?
Oh.
So
And every once in a
finally-
while you could hear the
I
crowd
don't want to even
laugh, but
talk
that-
about this right now.
Yeah.
I know it was sad.
It was
awesome.
the low light of a fantastic
Jake, you
evening.
really dropped the ball.
Dylan,
Wow.
Dylan,
Or Jana, I mean.
Glass.
You know what? Let's just settle on Lee. We can blame it on Lee.
Yeah.
Or
Okay,
Jason.
Can all you guys shut up
Yeah.
now
No,
so I
Jason.
can read a question?
Side conversation.
Yeah.
Dylan, Glass Tedder.
You should have powered through that name
Oh,
before
wow.
you
Go.
quieted us down.
It is. It's
Teeter. Teeter.
Okay. Weren't they supposed to send you pronunciations from now on?
I was
What's
an
his
English
deal?
major.
Yeah, this is an older one. First
When he
Assembly of
found
God
it,
in
that's
Washington, Missouri.
07.
He says, I actually asked the question once before, but I made the mistake of spelling a lot as one word. So instead of an answer, I got a verbal lashing from Doug.
Nope, throw
Dude,
that
pass
away.
up that question right now.
Yeah,
That's perfect. That's the perfect.
He says, my question is this. What are the most important things a volunteer youth pastor should be spending his time on? Weekly talks, relationships, follow-up events, campus outreach, camps, missions, small groups. We do all these things and a lot more, but it's basically my wife and me. We have not been able to get any faithful leaders on board with us. So I'm thinking maybe the thing you should do is recruiting.
Yeah.
Yep. Volunteers. If you do that much as a volunteer, wow.
Before that last sentence, I was even going to say volunteers would be the most important area to focus on. I would definitely not say weekend message.
Right. Well, I would say, where are there great resources that you can get a hold of that will help you? Can you get a retreat in a can? Can you find sermons, videos, illustrations that'll help? Where do you need the most help is people. So spend time with people, and the rest of the, then you can staff it a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. Well, this is the tension whether you're a volunteer youth pastor or you're full-time. You and I were just having a conversation with this about when things begin to pile on and all of a sudden you got to pause and you're going, okay, I've got no margin in my life.
Wow.
What are my goals that I've got to accomplish? What are my roles that I fulfill to reach those goals, and what are my tasks? And you only have so much time. But the resource, like one of the things I wrote down was Andy will love this, and it wasn't intended for Andy, but this live curriculum that has
Right.
4 years worth of teaching. It's like just add water. It's very easy to use and friendly. That right there takes a chunk of the time away.
Absolutely.
I'm watching, I don't know why. We need to talk about making this available to our volunteers, because my wife is killing herself prepping for a small group,
Yeah.
and I'm going, dear, steal one of these. Yeah.
Well, it isn't that kind of the mantra of Simple Youth Ministry is simplifying ministry, saving you time. So there are resources there that help you save time, so
Yeah.
that you
Right.
can concentrate on
People.
time with students, time with adults, time
Yeah.
with people is where good ministry happens. And if you're a volunteer, spend it with people and buy, purchase, rent, steal, whatever you need to do the other stuff.
Yeah.
Don't steal it from Simply though.
Just Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Just Chick-fil-A.
Steal it
I
from
like it.
morethandodgeball.com.
Oh, yep. Go ahead.
This is from Ken Todd. Ken says,
What first name?
long time since I've written, but I'm still listening.
Oh.
I am relieved to have left my last church. I'm thankful for your prayers for my family in that situation. I was worn out, but I decided that I'd not seek another full-time church position at a church for a job, quote unquote, because last time what was presented was not the reality at the church. Not wanting to get into that again, I decided to seek out a church that I really love and can support a church that I would and do attend even if I was not paid. Then I would get involved in the youth ministry as a volunteer. I have found a great church.
Oh, great.
So I love hearing that. And you know
That's
what?
very cool.
That is one of those things that, when we talk about the call to ministry, is the call to ministry vocational? Does it have to be with a paycheck, or is the call to ministry that I'm going to serve God wherever I am? And now he's a tent maker doing something else, supporting his ministry. There's, I think for some people, there's great freedom. Jake, you switched jobs. You were a youth
Yeah.
pastor, down south, and
Yep.
then all of a sudden, where everything was
Right.
reliant on you, and now you've come to be a part of a team, and there's a little bit of a,
That's nice, yeah.
a breather piece of that. Jana, you've done the same thing, where you were part of high school ministry, then you ran the college ministry. Every once in a while, switching roles, even if it's for a season, to go from a paid to
Totally.
you did the same thing. You were a
Totally.
youth pastor in Michigan, moved out here, worked on Purpose Driven, kind of away from,
Right.
it was still part of our youth ministry,
Yeah.
but it wasn't the day-to-day job that you have now as a high school
Absolutely.
pastor.
No, we even called
The
that
glory
just
days.
the glory days. Yeah, when I get paid and didn't have to work. No, it was good. Just the almost like a time of healing too. Like,
Yeah.
I just needed to let down, and
Yeah.
I like that he said, "I'm relieved. I'm excited to be gone." And I think that's okay. If you leave on great terms,
Yeah.
you could still be relieved that weight's off. If you left on bad terms, obviously there's a lot of weight off your shoulders.
Yeah.
But I think it's good. Take a season and ask God what He wants next.
Yeah.
And
Well, he has this question. I thought it was good. I was actually thinking about you, Josh, because, I'm now a volunteer in your ministry. He says, how do I, as someone with several years' experience who wants to honor God with what I have learned, go into a new church as a volunteer and offer to help without being pushy? And he goes on to say, he describes
Yeah.
a little bit of the situation. Guy's only been there 6 months, a little bit younger. You know, he says, I want to be seen as an asset and not a jerk.
Well, I would say from the outside, a lot of people would look at if Doug Fields was a volunteer in youth ministry, they would be either thrilled or intimidated out of their mind. And I would just say this: if you love him, it'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Because I really believe this. You love me, HSM. You love it.
Yeah.
And so your heart is always, you speak out of love. You say some very difficult things to me and very encouraging at the same time, but you love me.
Yeah.
So, Ken, if you can love this guy as the leader and as the paid guy and not you, and the spotlights aren't on you, they're on him now and all that, whatever, if you can love him, then yeah.
More encouraging than difficult things, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. but when you have a list of things that hey, what about this? Try this, and you're the best eyes in the world to have. But I know that comes out of a heart of love. And when you say something encouraging to me, no one else is listening.
Yeah.
And now, if not at the church, I mean, you have no motivation other than just to love me. And so, I think it's very rare though that someone would be able to give that authentically to someone else.
Well, if he makes it his goal, Ken, if you make it your goal as a volunteer to help that person win,
oh man,
you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna be too pushy. It's when that person feels like you've got an agenda or you've got a motive or you're kind of throwing around your experience or your expertise. But if you go to say, I just want to help you win.
But I think it's important for Ken to wait for the youth pastor to kind of give some permission to speak in. So I don't think I think you need to be there a little while and earn that place of, hey, let me, here's my experience, and let him hear your story so it's not just you pushing it onto him,
I have thought a lot about this week about being believed in and people that have believed in me, and that's why, I mean, if you believe in this guy and if you can believe in him, it will only help. It will only fuel him to do things that he might not even believe in himself for.
I have a hard time believing that somebody didn't believe in you. When we were there,
because your wife your wife gave such a great speech. Seriously,
we're talking Friday night. It's the going away for Doug and Kathy, and Angela says Josh feels so believed in by you. Blah 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 blah. He's been in situations where he hasn't been believed in, and I just find that hard to believe.
But don't you think? I mean, I think Taffy kind of echoed that same one.
Yeah,
and he is one of the best pastors we have.
I know.
And you believe in him.
I don't get it.
I think belief is one of the most powerful.
I can't wait for the day someone believes in me.
Yeah.
I believe there will be a day.
I'm holding out.
I wish we had half your news for you.
I think there's people who don't know how to believe in other people, though. Like, I think about that of parents all the time. They don't believe in their own kids. You see that.
Right.
I just don't.
Do you think part of it is because people only believe in themselves, or they're so self-centered that they can't believe in someone else? Like, you can't let anyone else win, or the attention or spotlight or success be on someone else because it makes you look bad. So you don't believe in other people like that.
That's probably part of it. I think part of it is people get so consumed with what's negative, what's wrong, what needs growth, what needs change, that they don't see potential,
Yeah.
Believe in that kid, Ken. He'll be great.
It was the next email.
This is Steve Carlson.
No, that younger youth pastor.
Steve Carlson, by the way, is from Roseville, Michigan.
Beautiful
Do you know where Roseville is?
Home of the...
MI is Michigan, right?
Yep.
Yeah. He was our barbecue sauce winner.
Oh, I like how he said the signature now. That's great. Just so you know.
Barbecue sauce winner. Ken Rosenthal.
Going to the having steak with you guys.
Is that what he won?
No.
I don't know.
What did he win?
Like a registration or something, right?
He goes free? Oh, well, we'll see you.
But we haven't chosen the dinner with the podcast posse yet in Chicago.
So,
I saw an email went yesterday.
Am I in on that,
Jake, can we please?
Did you get to go last year?
No, of course
Well,
not.
here's the deal. If Jana doesn't go and you can dress up as a woman,
Dude, I'm down for that.
you're in.
I'm down for that in Chicago, the
And
Windy
bring
City.
a set of speakers.
It's a...
Jana.
And share nothing but wisdom.
Jana.
Occasional jabs at Matt.
As soon as both of our babies are born, we're going to make them fight.
Let's have our girls fight right now.
That would be
Are
funny.
you having a boy or a girl? Do you
We
know?
don't know.
They're keeping it... Don't talk about it. It's keeping a secret.
Oh, wow. Then you're having a girl.
Let's hope not.
I'm prophetic.
Steve says, briefly, let me say I'm a little concerned that the future of the church, which is Matt, did not correct Doug when the comment was made about the FDIC insuring only $100,000. In 2008, the FDIC upgraded the insurance to $250,000. But anyway, my question is this.
What is happening right now? Are we a financial consulting podcast
I
right
don't
now?
know. I just love the fact that our barbecue sauce winner knows so much
Thank
about big
you,
dollars.
Steve. All right.
Yeah, so you should actually be buddies with Matt. Anyway, my question is this. How have you experienced change through ministry budget cuts?
Oh, yeah.
It's a great question. What have been some
No
good
home improvement
things?
callback.
Yep.
That's terrible.
1999, deal with it.
What, Doug?
We're going to get the conversation.
What have
about-
been, no, it's just
We already
making-
heard the question, right?
Yeah, it's
Is it-
no, there's more to
Oh,
it.
great.
Yeah, if you'd shut up and let me finish, that'd
This
be,
is my focus
that'd be
face.
great. Yeah, I was gonna say if you'd focus, but you have an eye problem.
I,
Lazy eye.
What have been some good things that have come out of it? I know I've experienced some great opportunities that I wouldn't have looked for if I didn't have to get creative.
so when you said the first question, that was it. That was how have times been through the budget cuts. Then blah, 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 little heart piece.
Blah, 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 creates
And
blah,
typo.
blah,
Oh, shit.
Opportunities with
And
an
your
E.
question's gone.
Yeah, that's all right, Steve. You didn't win the spelling contest,
That's
just the
right.
hot sauce.
We should do a spelling contest
Oh gosh.
to win a registration for the
Oh.
conference.
Anyway, my question is, how have you experienced
What
change through ministry budget cuts?
Ah.
Was your budget cut this year?
It
for high
was.
school? Yeah.
It was. Last year's cut more.
Yeah.
This year's cut again. It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
But what did we? Let's talk
There
about
you
what
go.
you and I talked about at lunch.
Okay. The
budget cut.
Trade-off. So if the budget gets
'Cause
cut,
this
there
is a
has
good
to
thing.
be something that gets cut as well. A program, a fund, something that we do. It stings. It
It
hurts.
doesn't have to be, but that is one of the good
Right.
things that can
One
come out of it. Is
You weren't listening at lunch.
Well, yeah. Here's what I
That was
said. I
that
said
friendly
the budget-
volunteer with an
budget-
idea that you
Well, that was the
really
idea
need to
you
listen
didn't want to
to.
take.
Chick-fil-A green receipts. I missed everything else. No, expectations are high. Budgets get cut. So do we just continue to somehow find a way to keep everything rolling and going?
You're tracking, but I think you said we have to.
Right.
And I think many of our friends listening, they go, it's another year, I got to keep ramping things up, even though I've been cut. And what we had talked about, maybe this is the opportunity when 2 years in a row your budget's been cut, that your expectations meet that level. So
Absolutely.
as opposed to, I love it that you say we have to, because I think that's healthy. But I don't think a lot of people who listen think they really have to cut
Your
back.
expectations for what?
Well, for growth.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden,
Okay.
Basically the church is saying, more bricks, less straw. And at some point, you can't keep doing more bricks with less straw. At
Right.
some point, you have to say, wait a second, we're losing people, we're hurting people, my marriage is in trouble, whatever it might
Right.
be, where you just can't keep doing more bricks with less straw. That is one of the good things of a budget. It forces you to reevaluate your priorities.
Yep. I've liked serving Griff as part of high school team. It's been great to see that even as we intentionally knock stuff back, that his ultimate vision for the ministry is always, look, we might cut back things or events or take missions trips or something that we've taken a really different look at, or big events. But his expectations for how we're reaching students hasn't changed at all.
Yeah.
So that's what I heard you saying there.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Thank you, man.
You got anything?
No.
No?
That's great.
Well,
Good job,
he
Pete.
said, what have been some good things that have come out of it? I know I have experienced some great opportunities that I wouldn't have looked for if I didn't have to get creative. And I would like for Steve, our barbecue sauce winner, to let us know what those are.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he kind of shows off right there.
A little bit.
Yeah, I've experienced some great stuff. Well, tell us what
Yeah.
they are.
Drop
So
it
we
in
don't
hot
have to do all
sauce.
the teaching.
Yeah.
I like
I
it.
think we've found some volunteers though differently than we would have
Totally.
in other
Volunteers
seasons.
with money.
No, but
Volunteers
I
that are
think
loaded.
volunteers with certain gifts that we were like, if we can't go out and pay for this,
Right.
who could we find to help us with this?
Yeah. No, it definitely forces you to, less money forces you to think creatively. And I do like the challenge of that, going, okay, we don't have the resources to just print a banner, so what can some students with markers and poster board do? We did that for our Happy Series, and it was incredible. We didn't pay for anything, and the backdrop looked really cool and fun, and
Yeah.
So creativity can help you.
You know, when
drill
Matt
something good.
graduated college, he came on staff, and I remember it was maybe a year into it, he made some money comment, because all he knew about youth ministry was a youth ministry with a budget, and he was kind of complaining about, I can't even remember what it was, but I remember saying, Matt, about 80% of the youth ministries across the country don't have, one, a staff person, like you are, getting a salary, in addition to the youth pastor here, and we don't have money to, they don't have money to pull things off. So we need to be, those of us that listening that do have budgets, and even if they're getting cut, we are in the small percentage of youth ministry.
Blessed.
Many youth workers, everything they buy is coming out of their own pocket, and their mansion's going to be a lot bigger in heaven than Josh's. This is from a it says, don't read my name, so I won't read the person's name, but I would like to say they're from another country.
Oh,
I know who
another
this
country.
is.
International question.
I know who this is.
Uh-oh.
See if you could guess at home.
Play along.
I've been
We'll tell you
having
if you
an
can.
ongoing struggle with my senior pastor's kids for the last few years since
Yeah, just keep going. Just keep.
Know the feeling.
I don't want to ruin it for
coming to the
everybody.
church due to past hurts from faith communities, but we've always managed to connect well. My wife and I have a pretty strong relationship with the family, which I'm assuming is the senior pastor's family, for a while, but through some recent turmoil, it has really made the oldest kid push us away. My senior pastor is really encouraging me to connect with the kids more, as I can understand, but every time I try to connect with the kid, they push me away. As is often quoted by you guys, hurt people, and that is how the interaction really seems to be occurring. It's obviously affecting my boss and his whole family considerably, which I understand and emphasize, so I guess my question is, do I suck it up and just write it out like I have for the last couple of months, or just try to pray and support the family as much as I can, or do you think I draw the line somewhere? My boss and I have a great relationship. We've always had clear communication, but I understand the struggle for him in this. Would love some support and encouragement. Let me give mine off the top response, that for your senior pastor, for his or her kids to go through some turmoil, and then he actually says what the turmoil is in parentheses. It says don't share it, but it's significant turmoil. There is no greater hurt in that senior pastor's life right now than that situation. It's not the budget of the church. It's not the decline in attendance. It's not the community, living for the devil. There's nothing is of greater concern than that guy's family right now. So it may be really, really tough for you, but as we were talking about an earlier question, and I've always found this is part of my job as the youth pastor, is I've got to support my boss. I want to try to make him win. I want to try to make him look good. I have always, not just with my senior pastor, with other people on the team, I'm always got my eye out for the kids, making sure they're connected, giving them, people say, were you playing favorites? In terms of giving them some special attention, making sure that kids whose family have grown up in the church, don't hate the church. So I think in some ways you suck it up and you do the best you can, but just know your pastor is dying in a pile, and he may put a good a good show on to make it seem like it's not that big a hurt. But if you guys have a great relationship, he knows you're being pushed away by the kid.
Well, and I was just thinking about if it were me, to say, hey, here's my, an email on a semi-regular basis of like, hey, I tried to call, I sent a letter. Is there anything that you know of that's going on that I could support him? And just that kind of communication, that I would continue to engage with my senior pastor and keep asking the question, how can I serve you? How can I serve your family? And here's what I'm trying. If you know a different way of communicating to your son, I'm open to that,
Yeah.
Well, I think if you remove the senior pastor from the situation and just go, this is a normal hurting kid who's distant, and what would you do then? And do that as the minimum, and then go above and beyond. This is a special case.
You might, though, in that situation, you might connect a volunteer with.
Right, absolutely. But this one is for you. Like, I actually do this with a couple guys. Their dads are on staff, and I give them extra attention. I could tell you who they are afterwards, but when something's going on,
Cody
I
Fields?
will. Yes, yeah.
You know what? Now that I've been off staff, I wonder why you don't.
Yeah, I don't hang out with
text
him
him
as much.
anymore.
But I know I would send Cody text messages that I wouldn't send anybody else. I would visit this other kid in the hospital, and I would ask someone else to, but I would go there personally for this kid, and did
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago actually. And
Yeah.
so there's a few people, and I would say they're my senior pastor's kids in essence.
Yeah.
I don't have senior pastor kids in the ministry, but I would treat them way different. I would give them more. I wouldn't think about it.
Well, the principle for all youth workers, especially if you're paid in the church, I think there are times when you go to the senior pastor's door at the office, and say, is there anything I can take off your plate? I just want to let you know I'm not doing this because I'm not busy. I'm buried with busy.
Right.
But can I serve you? How can I help with that? I mean, I do things a little bit where I'll even whisper in Rick's ear a name of somebody. I can tell he doesn't know the name. And I'll say, that's so-and-so, they're involved in children's ministry, and I'll feed him lines like that so he wins. And I think that's part of being a team player. Yeah. And sometimes the lines blur into family, and if you can care for the family, that's
what I was going to say. It's not just caring for the son in this season. It is caring for the family. So even, even your wife, to call the wife or,
Well, and play out the scenario, too. If you don't take extreme action and invest a little extra, this kid goes off and really potentially hurts the church, hurts the name of Jesus, whatever the situation is, it could devastate the ministry. And, you got to think, this is a big deal. Make it a big deal.
You were saying that, too, but it definitely sounds like this kid knows he's the senior pastor's son, and as a kid who grew up as a pastor's kid and knowing all the difficulty of that, the one thing for sure is he wants to, as much as possible, just meet as a normal kid. So maybe it's a bit of a transformation of your guys' relationship, finding a different place, a different way to talk, a different way to do those times together might be valuable too.
Were you a pastor's kid?
Actually, yeah.
I never treated you that way.
I know, I appreciate that. Yeah. That's why we're so close.
That's why you like DJ Hero.
That's right. What?
Cool.
Well, here's the deal. I know that you two guys have a legit job, and you have a meeting that you have to run to.
Appreciate that.
So you guys can leave. We'll end the show.
Yes, thank you.
sympodcast@gmail.com. We'll come back. Well, next week
I
is...
don't have a legit job. Wait, pause.
Well, you and I are meeting for your legit job right afterwards, because I thought we could stay on for the live show.
Oh, okay.
And we could just
That's
talk
great.
about how...
Answer real questions.
Yeah. So next week is Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Many blessings.
Well, I don't think we should do the podcast on
No.
Thanksgiving
You
Day.
definitely should.
No.
Let's do it on Tuesday.
I'll be in Arizona, guys.
Oh, you're going all week.
Yeah.
And Matt's probably on
Matt's back.
vacation.
I don't know. Are you taking the week off, Chris? Or are you up next week?
No, I'll be up on Tuesday.
Oh, you'll be up on Tuesday.
I have MOD on
Let's do
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Are you with
Switch
back
that.
to
MOD on Tuesday.
Well, you
of
would think.
Thanksgiving.
What do you hate more?
Really?
I don't.
MOD or the podcast?
No, podcast. I actually don't mind MOD all that much.
Really?
I had it
MOD
yesterday, I
for our
liked it too.
team is Minister of the Day, and somebody
You
on
don't like
staff
MOD.
has to be Minister of the Day, and they get phone calls like,
Wait, I had it all weekend long, Friday to Monday morning. Not one phone call.
Oh,
you
wow.
are
I
a-
called the answer machine. I thought the phone was broken. I was freaking out.
You are a woman of God, that
Yeah.
is for sure. Because it's
I have it
usually
during Life's Healing Choices.
it's usually
It's
the-
ringing off the hook.
God.
well, it's usually
Teach
after
sick
like
services. What?
Pastor Rick has been on Larry King and makes some comment or something like
Yes.
that. Everybody in the world calls it, "Hey Jake, do not leave yet. Let's bring it in. Bring it in. This is
His
how we."
boss. He's scared. He's scared. He's got to
It's
go.
not
Not scary,
I
it's
know.
respect. Here we go.
It's a scary respect.
McGill
All right.
taught me that.
Jake, why don't
Rest
you
in
say
peace,
that?
man.
Why don't you say
On 3, let's get a whoa team Jesus. Whoa.
that? You didn't say
Whoa.
3.
1, 2, 3. Whoa.